Welcome to our countdown of the top 10 strangest phobias people actually have. From the fear of peanut butter sticking to the roof of your mouth to the fear of being without your phone, we'll explore the science and psychology behind these unusual phobias. Get ready to be amazed, maybe even a little terrified as we uncover the strange world of phobias. Have you ever struggled to get that last bit of peanut butter off the roof of your mouth? Annoying, right? But imagine if that sensation sent shivers down your spine. That, my friends, is arachibutyrophobia, the fear of peanut butter sticking to the roof of your mouth. We're talking full-blown panic attacks, shortness of breath, the works. Even the sight of a jar or the smell of it wafting through the air can be enough to trigger their fear. Think about it, peanut butter is everywhere. Sandwiches, cookies, crackers, even some breakfast cereals. For someone with arachibutyrophobia, navigating the culinary world must feel like traversing a minefield. This phobia, like many others, often stems from a negative experience in the past. Perhaps a choking incident involving peanut butter or a particularly sticky situation that left a lasting impression. So, the next time you enjoy a peanut butter sandwich, spare a thought for those living with arachibutyrophobia. Their experience is a powerful reminder that what seems trivial to one person can be a source of genuine fear and anxiety for another. Let's talk about a phobia that's become increasingly prevalent in our hyper-connected world: nomophobia. The fear of being without a mobile phone or losing signal. Imagine this: you're walking down the street, reach into your pocket, and your phone's not there. Panic sets in, your heart starts racing, your palms sweat, and you feel a sense of dread wash over you. For someone with nomophobia, that feeling is all too real, and it can be completely debilitating. It's not just about missing a call or being out of the loop on social media. Nomophobia is rooted in a deeper fear of disconnection from information, from loved ones, from the world as we know it. Our phones have become our lifelines, our constant companions, and the thought of being without them can be terrifying for some. The good news is there are ways to manage nomophobia. Setting aside designated phone-free time, practicing mindfulness, and engaging in activities that don't involve screens can help reduce anxiety and dependence on our devices. Remember, we survived for millennia without smartphones, and we can certainly learn to navigate the world without being tethered to them 24/7. Let's delve into a truly peculiar one. Xanthophobia, the fear of the color yellow. Yes, you heard that right. The color of sunshine, lemons and Big Bird can send shivers down the spines of those living with this phobia. Everyday objects and experiences that most people take for granted, like yellow flowers, school buses, or even the sun, can trigger intense anxiety, panic attacks, and even nausea. For some, yellow might be associated with sickness, cowardice, or even danger. Think about caution signs, hazard lights, or even the yellowing of old paper. The origins of xanthophobia can vary from person to person. It can stem from a traumatic childhood experience involving the color yellow, a genetic predisposition to anxiety disorders, or even cultural factors that associate yellow with negative connotations. Living with xanthophobia can be incredibly isolating. Hippopotamonstrosesquipedaliophobia. The irony is real. All right, folks, get ready to twist your tongue because we're tackling a phobia with a name that's longer than a black hole is deep. Hippopotamonstrosesquipedaliophobia, the fear of long words. Yes, you heard that right. The very name of this phobia is enough to send shivers down the spines of those who have it. Imagine being afraid of the very words used to describe things. It's like being trapped in a linguistic labyrinth where every turn could lead to a wall of incomprehensible syllables. They often struggle with reading, writing, and even speaking, as the fear of encountering a long word can trigger anxiety, panic attacks, and a whole host of other unpleasant symptoms. Perhaps a child was ridiculed for mispronouncing a word, or maybe they associate long words with academic pressure or stressful situations. Living with hippopotamonstrosesquipedaliophobia can be incredibly isolating. Turophobia, the big cheese scare. Let's talk cheese, folks, or rather the fear of cheese turophobia. Now, I know what you're thinking. Who in their right mind could be afraid of cheese? It's creamy, it's delicious, it comes in more varieties than there are stars in the Milky Way. But for those with turophobia, cheese is no laughing matter. Imagine this: You're at a party and someone offers you a cheese platter. Sounds like a dream, right? But for someone with chorophobia, it's a nightmare. The sight of all those cheeses with their pungent aromas and varied textures is enough to send them running for the hills. Now, chorophobia isn't just about disliking the taste of cheese. It's a genuine phobia, often rooted in a traumatic experience, like a childhood incident involving spoiled cheese or a particularly nasty case of food poisoning. All right, folks, let's dive into a phobia that's often associated with childhood nightmares and horror movies: coulrophobia, the fear of clowns. Now, I know what you're thinking. Clowns? Those jolly, goofy entertainers with the painted smiles and oversized shoes. But for those with coulrophobia, clowns are anything but amusing. Imagine this. You're at a birthday party and suddenly a clown appears with its exaggerated features, bright colors, and unpredictable behavior. Sounds like a recipe for fun, right? Not for someone with coulrophobia. For them, this scenario is the stuff of nightmares. The clown's painted smile becomes a grotesque grin. The colorful makeup, a mask concealing something sinister, and the goofy antics a source of unpredictable terror. Living with coulrophobia can be incredibly isolating, especially for children. Omphallophobia, the fear of belly buttons. Buckle up, folks, because we're about to explore a phobia that's as strange as it is unexpected. Omphallophobia, the fear of belly buttons. Yes, you heard that right. Those little indentations in our stomachs, remnants of our time in the womb, can be a source of intense fear and anxiety for some people. Imagine this: you're at the beach enjoying the sun and sand when suddenly you catch a glimpse of someone's exposed belly button. Sounds like a perfectly ordinary summer scene, right? Not for someone with omphallophobia. For them, this seemingly innocuous sight can trigger a wave of nausea, dizziness, and even panic attacks. Living with omphallophobia can be incredibly challenging. Pogonophobia, the fear and loathing of facial hair. Hold on to your razors, folks, because we're about to delve into the fascinating world of pogonophobia, the fear of beards. Now I know what you're thinking. Beards, those symbols of masculinity, wisdom, and sometimes just plain laziness. But for those with pogonophobia, beards are anything but appealing. Imagine this: you're walking down the street and you lock eyes with someone sporting a full bushy beard. Sounds like a perfectly normal encounter, right? Not for someone with pogonophobia. For them, this seemingly innocuous sight can trigger a wave of anxiety, disgust, or even full-blown panic. Perhaps a child was frightened by someone with a beard, or they associate beards with a negative historical figure or fictional villain. Living with pogonophobia can be surprisingly challenging, especially in a world where beards have become increasingly fashionable. Vestiphobia, when clothing feels like a cage. Let's talk about a phobia that's often misunderstood and underreported. Vestiphobia, the fear of clothing. Now, I know what you're thinking. Clothing, the very thing that protects us from the elements, allows us to express ourselves, and prevents public indecency. But for those with vestiphobia, clothing is anything but comfortable. Imagine this: you wake up in the morning and it's time to get dressed. Sounds like a perfectly ordinary start to the day, right? Not for someone with vestiphobia. For them, the act of putting on clothes can feel like a Herculean task, a source of intense anxiety, claustrophobia, and even physical discomfort. Some people with vestiphobia might have experienced a traumatic event involving clothing, such as being trapped in a confined space while wearing restrictive clothing or being bullied for their appearance. Living with vestiphobia can be incredibly isolating and challenging. Coulrophobia, dancing with fear. Get ready to tap into a phobia that's all about rhythm and blues, or rather, the fear of rhythm and blues. Coulrophobia, the fear of dancing. Now, I know what you're thinking. Dancing? That joyous expression of movement, music, and social connection? But for those with coulrophobia, dancing is anything but a party. Imagine this: you're at a wedding and the dance floor is packed with people grooving to the music. Sounds like a recipe for a good time, right? Not for someone with coulrophobia. For them, this scenario is a social minefield, a source of intense anxiety, self-consciousness, and even physical discomfort. Some people with coulrophobia might have experienced a traumatic event involving dancing, such as being publicly humiliated or ridiculed for their dance moves, or witnessing a frightening or disturbing event while dancing. Living with coulrophobia can be surprisingly isolating, especially in a culture that often celebrates and encourages dancing. These phobias might seem strange, but they are very real for those who experience them. They highlight the diverse and sometimes puzzling nature of human fears, reminding us of the importance of empathy and understanding in addressing mental health issues. While these phobias might seem unusual or even humorous to some, it's crucial to remember that they represent genuine struggles for those who experience them. These phobias can significantly impact an individual's quality of life, affecting their relationships, work, and overall well-being. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more fascinating content. And be sure to let us know in the comments which phobia surprised you the most.